The cold bite of the Hudson River water hit me like a freight train, dragging me under before I could even scream. My brother's hands, those same hands I'd bandaged after every bar fight, pushed me off the edge. His face twisted not in rage, but in cold calculation, whispering, "It's for the family, Nova. You'll understand." And as the darkness swallowed me whole, the last thing I saw was the winning lottery ticket fluttering from his pocket, the one I'd bought with my last $20 from the corner bodega. I gasped awake in my ratty Brooklyn apartment, the kind with peeling wallpaper and a mattress that sagged like my dreams. My heart hammered against my ribs, but the clock on the nightstand reads 7:15 a.m., June 15th. 2 years ago. Not yesterday. Not the day I died. The day before the family barbecue where everything went to hell. I bolted upright, my hands flying to my neck, feeling the phantom pressure of fingers that weren't there anymore. Holy shit. I'd done it. I'd come back. It took 3 frantic minutes of pacing the creaky floorboards, splashing water on my face from the leaky faucet, and staring at my reflection, same tired hazel eyes, same frizzy brown hair tied back in a no-nonsense ponytail, to convince myself this wasn't some fever dream cooked up by cheap diner coffee. I'd read those reincarnation stories online during graveyard shifts at the warehouse, the ones where the hero gets a do-over to fix their screw-ups. But this was my shot at vengeance, raw and unfiltered, straight out of a Scorsese flick. No divine intervention. Just me, Nova Reyes, 28 years old and pissed as hell. 2 years from now, no. 2 years ago now, I'd been the glue holding our fractured Puerto Rican-American family together in the shadow of the Bronx. Mom had MS. Dad was a ghost after the factory layoffs. And my little sister Mia was one bad report card away from juvie.
Me?
I juggled 4 jobs like a circus act on fire, mornings slinging lattes at a hipster cafe in Williamsburg, afternoons stocking shelves at the 24-hour Target, evenings tutoring math to spoiled Upper East Side brats, and overnights loading trucks at the port. 60 hours a week. Minimum. Pulling in just enough to cover Mom's meds, Mia's braces, and the rent on our 2-bedroom walk-up that smelled like fried plantains and regret. I'd sacrificed everything. Dates? Canceled. College dreams? Buried under student loan statements I couldn't touch. Friends? What friends? The only calls I got were from debt collectors or my brother Javier, begging for just one more loan to chase his pipe dream music career. Javier, the golden boy, with his tattoos and guitar and that smile that could charm a nun. I'd believed in him, bled for him. Hell, that lottery ticket? I'd bought it on a whim after a double shift, scratching it half asleep on the subway, only to hand it over when nothing came up. Keep it for luck, I'd said. Famous last words. But luck?
Yeah, right.
Fast forward to the barbecue at Flushing Meadows Park, the one we'd scraped together for Mom's birthday. The family was there, uncles nursing Coronas, cousins grilling carne asada, Mia practicing her TikTok dances on the grass. I'd just clocked out from the cafe, still in my apron stained with espresso, when Javier burst in waving that damn ticket like a flag of surrender. Nova. We won. 50 million. The screams. The hugs. The tears. It was like we'd hit the reset button on poverty itself. Except it wasn't our win. It was mine. And in the haze of champagne toasts and what if we buy a yacht fantasies, Javier pulled me aside by the picnic tables. Sis, listen. The ticket's in my name now. I signed it quick.
You know?
But we'll split it fair. Mom's treatments. Mia's college. Your freedom from those dead-end gigs. Trust me. Trust him? I'd handed over my life savings for his studio time more times than I could count. So I nodded, exhausted, and went back to pouring cheap punch. That night, the calls started. Relatives I'd never met crawling out of the woodwork, demanding cuts. Javier's manager, some sleazy guy from Queens with a gold chain and a Ponzi scheme vibe, showed up with contracts. Liquidate fast.
Kid.
Taxes'll eat you alive. By dawn, the money was wired. The family was packing for Miami condos. And I was left with a "we'll send for you" promise that tasted like ash. 2 weeks later, they ghosted. Mom's phone went straight to voicemail. Mia's Instagram? All palm trees and private jets.
Javier?
Radio silence until the night he showed up at my door. Eyes wild. Flanked by 2 goons in ill-fitting suits. You talked to the IRS. Nova. Said it was your ticket. Now they're auditing us. You trying to screw us over?
Lies.
All lies. I'd kept my mouth shut, buried the hurt under overtime hours. But paranoia had set in, fueled by that manager's whispers. She's jealous. Always was the bitter one. The push came on the pier, under the Williamsburg Bridge, where the city lights danced like mocking fireflies on the water.
Javier,
drunk on betrayal and bourbon, cornered me after I'd confronted him about Mom's abandoned meds. You were always the burden. Nova. Dragging us down with your hard work bullshit. This money, it's our fresh start. Without you. And then the shove.
The splash. The end.
But not anymore. I slammed my fist into the bathroom mirror, cracking it just enough to spiderweb without shattering. Blood trickled from my knuckles, warm and real, grounding me. This time, I'd play it smart. No rushing in like some vigilante from a bad Lifetime movie. I'd unravel them thread by thread, starting with that ticket. It was still in my purse from the bodega run yesterday. Unscratched.
Mine.
By 8 a.m., I was out the door, the summer heat already turning the sidewalks into griddles. First stop, the cafe. But not to work. To quit.
Nova.
You sure? Bill's on your ass about the rush, my manager grunted, wiping sweat from his bald head. Yeah, I said, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Got a better offer. Lie number 1. But freedom tasted sweet, even if it was laced with revenge. Next. The bank. I'd stashed as emergency fund, $2, 347.12. Every penny from skipped lunches and birthday cash. Not much, but enough to buy time. I wired half to an offshore account I'd read about in a finance subreddit, the kind shady influencers peddled for financial independence. Anonymity was key. No traces back to Nova Reyes, the doormat sister. Afternoon found me at the public library in Midtown, hunkered down with a laptop that hummed like an asthmatic bee. Research mode, lottery laws, tax evasion schemes, and how to expose a family con without ending up in the river again. Turns out, Javier's manager, real name Victor Russo, courtesy of a quick Google, was no stranger to the feds. Minor fraud busts, a civil suit for embezzlement. The kind of dirt that stuck if you rubbed it right. But the real bomb? A buried email chain I'd forwarded to myself back then, before the delete frenzy. Proof that Javier had forged my signature on a family trust document, siphoning my tutoring paychecks into his band fund. I'd let it slide, family,
right? Now?
It was Exhibit A in my private war room. Dusk fell as I slipped into a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, nursing a flat soda to blend in. Javier was there, of course, strumming his guitar for tips. That same crooked grin drawing in wide-eyed co-eds. I watched from the shadows, heart a drumbeat of fury.
He hadn't changed.
Still chasing highs. Still blind to the wreckage. But I had. This Nova didn't beg for scraps. This Nova built empires on them. As closing time hit, I tailed him home, a squad in Astoria, graffiti-tagged and reeking of weed. He stumbled in, oblivious, while I jotted notes, license plate, neighbors' names, the bodega where he scored his fix. Small threads. But pull hard enough, and the whole sweater unravels. Back in my apartment by midnight, I collapsed onto the bed, the weight of 2 lifetimes pressing down. Sleep came fitful, haunted by water and whispers. But in the quiet, a plan crystallized. Step 1, secure the ticket. Scratch it solo. Claim it quiet. No family fanfare. Step 2, bait the hook. Let them smell the money. Watch them salivate. Step 3, strike. Ruin their fairy tale before it even spins. Morning broke with a vengeance. I scratched the ticket over the sink, hands steady as a surgeon's. 50 million. Jackpot. The numbers blurred through hot tears, not of joy, but release. This wasn't salvation. It was a weapon. I called in sick to all 4 jobs. No more chains. Instead, I hit the streets, lawyer shopping in Manhattan's glass towers. The first 3 were suits with shark smiles, sniffing commission. The 4th, Elena Vasquez, a no-bullshit Latina firebrand from the Bronx, who'd clawed her way through Harvard on scholarships and spite. What do you need? Mija? She asked over weak coffee in her corner office. I laid it out, the forgery, the abandonment, the murder timeline I couldn't prove but felt in my bones. Her eyes narrowed. Revenge or justice? Both, I said. But make it hurt. By noon, we had a Shell LLC in the Caymans. The winnings funneled through it like smoke. Elena's network hooked me up with a PI, ex-cop named Harlan, built like a linebacker with a southern drawl that hid his ruthlessness. Track the brother. Quiet. And that manager? Dig deep. Days blurred into a haze of stakeouts and spreadsheets. I dyed my hair blonde, swapped jeans for pencil skirts, rented a sublet in Chelsea under a fake name. Nova Reyes faded. Elena dubbed me Envy. Harlow, the ghost investor. Harlan's first report landed via encrypted email. Javier was deeper in debt than I thought. $50K to loan sharks. Courtesy of Victor's investments. And Victor? Ties to a Brooklyn syndicate. The kind that laundered money through fake charities. The bait dropped on week 2. An anonymous tip to Javier's phone. Burner. Untraceable. Heard about the big win. Family reunion? Check the news. By evening, the Post had a blind item. Mystery heiress cashes megalotto. Eyes NYC real estate. Vague enough to hook. Specific enough to reel.
He bit. Hard.
The text flooded. Nova? Is this you? Call me. Mom's voicemails. Weepy and wheedling.
Mia S Insta DMS.
All emojis and sis. We miss you. I let it simmer. Replying in drips. Busy. Talk soon. Let the hunger build. Week 3. The meat. A neutral spot, the low boathouse in Central Park. All white tablecloths and whispered deals. I arrived in a sheath dress that cost half my old rent. Hair sleek. Heels clicking like countdowns. Javier was there first, fidgeting in a thrift store blazer. Victor lurking like a bad cologne. Mom and Mia trailed, decked in knockoff Chanel. Nova, Javier breathed, standing too quick. Chair scraping. You look different.
Yeah.
Reborn. We ordered mimosas I didn't touch. Small talk first, weather. Old jokes. Then the pitch. The money, Victor leaned in, gold tooth glinting.
We can manage it right.
Family pool.
Trusts.
Avoid the pitfalls. His hand grazed mine. Paternal bullshit. I smiled, slow and sharp. Pitfalls like forgery or abandonment. The table froze. Mom gasped. Javier paled. What? Exhibit A, I said, sliding a folder across. Elena's handiwork. Bank statements. Emails. The trust doc with his sloppy signature over mine. You stole from me long before the ticket. And when I wouldn't play along, you tried to erase me. Victor's laugh was oil slick. Allegations. Sweetheart. Prove it. But his eyes darted. Harlan's dirt on him was next. A flash drive in my purse. Mia whimpered. Nova. Please. We're family. Family. The word curdled. Not anymore, I said. But I'll give you a chance. One deal. Sign over your shares in the family future, or I go public. IRS. Feds. The works. Javier's jaw clenched. You destroy us? After everything? Everything. I echoed. Voice low. I died for your everything. The lie hung. But they didn't know that.
Not yet.
Victor stood, signaling retreat. We'll think on it. But as they filed out, Mom lingering with teary eyes, I felt the first crack in their facade. That night, alone in the sublet, I poured a real drink, top-shelf scotch. Burning clean. The game was on. But as sirens wailed outside, a new email pinged. Harlan. Trouble. Victor's calling in favors. Watch your back. Adrenaline surged. This wasn't just payback. It was war. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford anymore. By dawn, I was wired caffeine and cortisol, mapping escape routes on a napkin while the city stirred below my window. Victor Russo wasn't the type to fold. He was the type to fold you into concrete shoes. Harlan's warning echoed. Guys got reach. Old-school mob ties. Laundered through his entertainment front.
Great.
My revenge tour had upgraded to witness protection vibes. Elena called at 7:15 sharp. Her voice a Brooklyn bark over the line. Nova, Harlow, whatever the hell you're calling yourself today. We need to accelerate. My sources say Victor's sniffing around your old jobs. Asking questions. Time to flip the script. Already on it, I lied. Though my pulse said otherwise. Step 4, escalate. I'd leaked another teaser to the financial blogs. Anonymous lotto winner eyes hostile takeover of local music labels. Bait for Javier's ego. Poison for Victor's wallet. By noon, the blogs were buzzing, and my burner lit up with panicked voicemails. Javier, this is crazy.
Sis.
Meet me alone. No lawyers. We rendezvoused at a greasy spoon in Corona. The kind with formica tables scarred by decades of knife fights and heartbreak. He slid into the booth opposite me, unshaven, eyes bloodshot. No Victor this time, just brother against sister. Raw as an open wound. Nova. What the fuck, he hissed, glancing over his shoulder at the bored waitress flipping burgers. You're tanking everything. Mom's freaking, says her doctor's cutting her off without insurance. Guilt twisted. Sharp as a shiv.
Mom.
The woman who'd sung me lullabies in Spanglish. Who apologized for every flare-up like it was her fault. But then I remembered the silence after the win. The empty pill bottles I'd found in the trash during my last desperate visit. Insurance you could have afforded, I shot back, voice steady. If you'd sent even a dime. He leaned in, desperation cracking his charm. It was Victor. He handled the wires, said it was structured for taxes. I trusted him, for us. For you, even. That trust fund? It was supposed to include you. Liar. I slapped a printout down Harlan's gem. Wire transfers to Victor's offshore shells. Javier's initials on every one. 20 grand to a tour fund. 5 to a Cayman entity named after Mia's birthday. You gambled our future on his promises. Javier's face crumpled. Not actor tears, but real, the kind that come from staring down your own reflection and hating it. I fucked up. Okay, but killing this? It's suicide. Victor's pissed. Says you're a threat. Last night. He mentioned the river. Ice in my veins. Echoes of splashes. Let him try. We sat in silence. The sizzle of bacon mocking us. Then, the offer, my twist. Walk away. Testify against him. Full immunity deal through Elena. You keep a cut enough for Mom. Mia? A clean slate. Betray me again? I bury you both. He searched my face, hunting for the old Nova, the pushover who'd covered his bar tabs.
Gone.
You're different, he murmured. Harder. Dying does that. The words slipped, too casual, too loaded. His brow furrowed. What? Nothing. I stood, tossing a 20 on the table. 48 hours. Choose. But choice? Javier never had one. By evening. Harlan's update. Tale says your bros holed up with Victor in a Jersey safe house. Planning something dumb. Hit. Not yet, I replied, fingers hovering over the keyboard.
Patience was my edge.
Instead, I dug deeper, public records, social media scrapes. Mia's feeds were gold, geotagged posts from a family Valkyrie in the Hamptons. Pre-win. Funded by my loans. Mom's old Facebook. Pleading for GoFundMe donations while Javier partied. The betrayal layered like sediment, each stratum uglier than the last. Night 2. The storm broke. Rain lashed Manhattan as I paced the sublet. Elena on speaker. We've got leverage. Victor's linked to a RICO case, extortion on indie labels. Your takeover leak spooked his backers. They're pulling funding. Good. But unease nod. A knock shattered it, sharp, insistent. Through the peephole, Mia. Soaked. Makeup streaking like war paint. I cracked the door.
Chain on.
Go home. Please. Nova. Her voice cracked. 16 going on shattered. Javi's losing it. Victor's got him signing crap, says it's to protect the family from you. But it's bad.
Like.
Witness tampering bad. My grip tightened. The kid, my kid sister, the one I'd braided hair for, fought bullies over. Why tell me? Because you're the only one who ever cared. Sobs now.
Raw.
He pushed you, didn't he? That night on the pier. I saw the bruises on his hands after. He said you fell.
Drunk.
But I know. Confession hung. Electric. Twist one, she knew. All along. Why wait?
Fear.
Simple. Devastating. Victor's world.
But now.
I want out. For Mom. I unchained the door. She tumbled in, dripping on the hardwood. Over hot cocoa, absurdly domestic, we plotted. Mia spilled Victor's safe house address, passcodes to Javier's phone, even a hidden cam in their family office capturing Victor's boasts about handling loose ends.
Goldmine.
By morning, Elena had warrants drafting. But controversy brewed, leaking to the press, exposing family dirt. Elena warned, this goes public. You're the villain. Gold-digging sister torches kin for lotto loot. Let them talk. Controversy was fuel. I was done playing saint. The leak dropped at 10 a.m. Daily News exclusive. Lotto heiress exposes mob-tied fraud in family feud. Photos blurred. Me as a silhouette. Javier's mug from a DUI bust. Victor's sleazy headshot. Twitter, X, whatever, exploded. Lotto betrayal trended. Memes of me as a vengeful Latina Wonder Woman clashing with trolls calling me a selfish bitch. Harlan called mid-frenzy. It's working. Victor scrambling, creditors circling. But Javier? He's coming for you. Armed. Adrenaline spiked. I grabbed the go-bag cash, fake ID, burner, and bolted to Elena's office. Midtown traffic crawled, horns blaring like accusations.
Inside.
Chaos, reporters swarming the lobby, Elena barking orders to security. Upstairs, she yelled, hustling me to the conference room. Locks clicked. Safe, for now. But the call came at 2 p.m. Javier's number. You happy now? Mom had a flare-up. Hospital. Because of your shit. Bluff or truth. My stomach dropped. Where? Bronx General. Come alone. Or Victor finishes what he started. Trap. Obvious. But Mom, goddammit. Elena shook her head. Ambulance records say she's stable at home. This is bait. I know, but the pull. Family, fractured as it was. Send Harlan. I'll draw them out. Dusk in the Bronx. Rain-slick streets reflecting neon lies. I waited at the pier, wind whipping my coat like accusations. Headlights pierced the gloom. Black SUV.
Tinted.
Door opened. Javier stepped out. Not gun-toting, but wrecked, tears mixing with rain. Nova.
Horse.
It's over. Victor's gone rogue. Thinks you're the key to his bust-out scam. Frame you for the fraud.
Keep the cash.
Another twist. Not just greed. A setup. Me as Patsy. Post-death. Why tell me? Because you're right. I chose wrong. Every time. He stepped closer. Hands up. Forgive. Tires screeched. Second vehicle, Victor's. Unmarked van. Doors flew. Two thugs. Masks.
Bats.
Javier shoved me back. Run. Chaos erupted. Bat swung. Crack on Javier's arm. His scream. I dodged. Heels snapping on cobble. Phone out 911. Live streaming to Elena's cloud. Help. Pier 62. Attack. Thug 1 lunged. I sidestepped. Knee to groin, self-defense class from Job 2. Warehouse edition. He crumpled. Thug 2 grabbed Javier. Dragging. Boss says end it. Victor emerged then. Umbrella like a mobster prop. Pistol glinting. Harlow, or whatever. Hand over the accounts. Or your brother's fish food. Javier struggled. Bloodied.
Nova.
Don't. Sirens wailed distant. Time fractured. My decision, the controversial one. Pull the trigger on mercy, or let karma clip. I laughed.
Cold.
Accounts? They're frozen. Feds en route.
Bluff.
Mostly, Elena's warrants hours out. But Victor faltered. Then, shot not from him. From shadows. Harlan. Rifle steady. Victor dropped. Knee blooming red. Thug scattered. Javier slumped.
Gasping. You.
Saved me. No, I said, kneeling in the puddle. You chose this time. Ambulance lights painted us blue. Cops swarmed. Statements blurred. Victor cuffed. Snarling curses in Italian. Javier to ER broken bones. Not soul. But as they wheeled him away, Mia appeared. Elena in tow. Mom's fine, she whispered. I called her. She's watching the news. Proud. Proud. The word anchored. But victory tasted bittersweet. Twitter raged, heroes or monsters. Family Feud Lotto split the nation, me as empowered avenger or heartless destroyer. Night 3. Hospital vigil. Javier woke groggy. Tubes snaking. I'm sorry, he croaked. For the push. The lies.
All.
Tears pricked. Why?
Fear.
Of losing the dream. You were always the strong one.
I.
Envied. Confession sealed. I nodded. Testify. Clean.
He did.
By week's end, indictments flew. Victor's empire crumbled, RICO charges, asset freezes. My lotto, locked in trusts, for Mom's care. Mia's tuition. Even a sliver for Javier's rehab. Controversial? Hell yes. Headline screamed Sister Savage takedown. Justice or vendetta?
Me?
I vanished into the sublet, scrolling the storm. Reborn, but scarred. Unraveling them had cost pieces of me. Worth it? Asked the woman staring back from the mirror. Eyes harder, but alive. Yet, as dawn crept, a new email, unknown sender. MS.
Harlow.
Impressive play. Coffee?
E.
Stark. Stark Industries. Twist incoming. A billionaire. Stepping in. The email sat like a live wire. Cursor hovering as Manhattan's skyline pierced the morning fog.
E.
Stark. Elliot Stark. The reclusive tech mogul who'd built a fortune on AI ethics and green energy. The guy Forbes called the conscience of Silicon Alley. His net worth danced around the $12 billion mark. Whispered deals with DC. Insiders. A penthouse fortress atop One Pen One. Why me? A lotto ghost playing family executioner? I hit reply. Black. No sugar. Where? Ballsy. But rebirth bred audacity. His response pinged instant. The usual. 10 a.m. Discretion advised. The usual turned out to be a nondescript cafe in Flatiron. The kind tourists mistook for a Starbucks knockoff, but locals knew served Intel with their espressos. I arrived early. Envy. Harlow mode, tailored blazer. Minimal makeup. The .38 Elena insisted on tucked in my boot, permit courtesy of her judge buddy. Stark was already there. Corner booth. Nursing a pour-over like it held state secrets. Mid-50s. Salt and pepper beard. Eyes like a hawk scanning code. No entourage. Just power. Quiet and coiled. MS. Harlow, or should I say Nova Reyes. His voice was gravel over silk. Midwestern flat with East Coast edge. Saw your handiwork with Russo. Elegant. Brutal. I slid in, ordering flat white to match. Stocking lotto winners now, expanding the portfolio. He chuckled.
Low.
Stalking threats to my investments. Victor was laundering through a label I quietly back, indie scene cleanup. Your leak saved me a boardroom coup. He leaned forward, steam curling. But that's not why I'm here. It's the method. You didn't just expose. You dismantled. Family ties severed. Public trial by fire. Reminds me of my own. Resets. Intrigue hooked. Care to share? Divorce. Oh, 8. Wife took half. Kids the narrative. I rebuilt from ashes, bought the company that bought me out. Lesson? Betrayals a forge. His gaze sharpened. You're forging something too. Question is, weapon or wings?
Wings.
Poetic. From a man who'd grounded drones for peace summits. But I saw the angle: recruitment, patron, both. Starting with wings. We talked 2 hours, his ventures in ethical AI. My half-baked ideas for a nonprofit, worker co-ops for gig economy grinders. Funded by lotto scraps. He probed, controversial choices. Nova. Leaking family docs? Painting your brother as villain? America loves a redemption arc. But yours? It's lightning rod. Intentional, I admitted. They needed the burn. I needed the freedom. Truth. Javier's testimony had him in Witsec Light, new name. Therapy. A desk job in Philly. Mom thrived in an assisted living spot upstate. Mia aced her GED online. Clean breaks. But the scars? Mine ran deepest. Stark nodded. Freedom's pricey. Offer. Seed funding. $5 mil. No strings but impact metrics. Build that co-op. Or walk your call. No call. A lifeline. By lunch. Papers signed digitally. Stark Industries LLC as silent partner. One caveat, he added.
Standing.
Dinner next week. Strategy session. And Nova? Watch the skies. Not everyone's a fan of phoenixes. He vanished into a waiting Tesla, leaving me buzzing. Wings. Indeed. But as I stepped out, phone vibrated. Harlan. Loose end. Victor's lawyer sniffing for defamation suit. Against you and Javier.
Shit.
The snake's last strike. I forwarded to Elena, who fired back, motion to dismiss incoming. But PR hit, lean into it. Lean I did. That afternoon. Op-ed for the Times. Why I exposed my family. The cost of loyalty in America's hustle culture. Raw, the 4 jobs. The shove, framed as metaphorical, lawyer approved. The rebirth as metaphor. It dropped at 6 p.m. Crashing servers. Comments flooded. Inspiring. Toxic AF. Protests brewed. Feminist rallies chanting my name. Conservative pods decrying family destruction. Controversy peaked at the gala, Stark's invite. Black tie fundraiser for urban renewal at the Met. I walked in on his arm, platonic, per his networking wink. Emerald gown hugging curves I'd forgotten I had. Flashbulbs popped like gunfire.
Nova.
Over here. Is it true about the murder plot? Stark steered me through, murmuring,
Breathe.
You're the story now. The story exploded when Victor's goons crashed, not literally, but via proxy. A planted heckler in the crowd, screaming, Lotto liar, you ruined innocence. Security dragged him, but not before he lobbed a pie, cream, not acid, splattering my dress. Laughter rippled, then gasps as I wiped it off. Mic'd up for the keynote. Ladies, gentlemen, I said, voice amplified, pie dripping like absurd confetti. This is what betrayal looks like. Not the splashy kind, but the slow poison of trust abused. I worked 4 jobs to save my family. They abandoned me for lottery dreams. I came back stronger to demand accountability. Applause thundered. Stark's grin was wolfish. Offstage. His whisper, that was the hook. Now real. Post-gala. The twist uncoiled. Harlan's call at midnight. Victor's cellmate flipped. Full confession. Javier's push was coerced. Gun to his head. But here's the kicker. You weren't the first. Victor's trail? Dozens. Lotto accidents staged for grabs. Dozens. My death. A cog in his machine. Fury reignited. But colder, strategic. Dawn raid. Elena's team. Feds in tow. Dismantling Victor's network. Arrests cascaded, associates. Enablers. Javier's immunity held. He testified remote. Voice steady over video link. By month's end, the empire smoked. Victor. Life without parole. My co-op launched, Nova's Nest. Training hubs in the Bronx. Williamsburg. First class. Ex-gig workers. Including a barista from my old cafe. Stark's funding flowed. His strategy sessions evolving to mentorship, board seats, VC intros. But the real reckoning? Family fragments. Mia visited first. Summer internship at the co-op. You're a boss now, she said, hugging fierce. Mom followed, wheelchair-bound but eyes bright.
Mia.
I failed you.
No.
We'd failed each other. Forgiveness? Partial, weekly calls. Boundaries ironclad. Javier last. Philly train station. Coffee in hand. Leaner. Sober. A far cry from the rock star wannabe. I built something, he said. Sliding a demo CD. Acoustic tracks. Lyrics laced with regret. Not for fame. For amends. I listened later. Alone in the penthouse Stark had loaned for the city phase. Tracks wept, river's edge, haunting. Tears came. Cathartic. Not absolution, but closure. Twist final. Stark's true play. Over steak at his club. He confessed. Tracked you pre-lotto. Your warehouse whistleblowing exposed unsafe conditions. Saved lives. Quiet hero. The family mess?
Test.
Could you scale the fire?
Scale I did.
By fall. Nova's Nest franchised Chicago. LA. Stark merged it into his ethical AI arm. Apps predicting worker burnout. Gigs with equity shares. Billionaire stepped in? Understatement. He elevated. America's take?
Polarized to the end.
Protests at launches. Corporate savior or class traitor? But enrollment soared. I keynote TED. Reborn from betrayal. Hustle's hidden cost. Standing ovation. Haters be damned. 1-year post reset. The pier at dusk. No rain. Just golden hour gilding the water. I scattered petals, white, for peace, from Mom's garden. To the old Nova, I whispered. Thanks for the fight. Phone buzzed stark. Dinner? New deal brewing. I smiled, turning toward the city lights. Reborn. Revenged. Rising. The hustle never ended.
But now?
I owned it.